Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for Self-Directed IRA Saturday. Getting a little bit started late here, but I appreciate you all being patient with us as we deal with our technical challenges and bring up all the education for you guys. But my name is Sarah Shellum. I am the Assistant Marketing Manager and the Content Lead in our marketing department here at Quest. I'm also an IRA specialist, so if you ever have questions for us, myself and about 15 other people on our team are always able to answer questions for you. But I'll give you our contact information at the end just after I run through a couple of brief slides here. But for those of you who don't know who we are a self-directed IRA custodian that not only serves as the custodian to hold your self-directed IRA accounts, but we also provide a lot of educational resources, just like the class that you're attending today. So we used to have Tuesday weekly webinars. We still have some education, Quest education on Tuesdays, but every Saturday you can join us. We bring in guest speakers from all across the nation, locally and states. We have people from all over the country joining us. That one is every Saturday at 12. But if you're looking for more of kind of just networking, don't really want the education, really just want to meet other people, movers and shakers just like yourself, we have our National Networking Happy Hour that takes place every fourth Wednesday at 6:30. But any of the events that we host, almost all of them you can go back and rewatch them. They can be re-seen on our YouTube pages and also on our Facebook pages. So it's a great place to, maybe if you missed a class, if you want to share a class with somebody else that you think might find it valuable, go ahead and send them those links. We have over hundreds and hundreds of videos there to check out. But real quickly, what is a self-directed IRA? For those of you that might just be joining us for the first time and want to get a little bit of information about Quest and kind of what we do, I've got just 3 really quick slides that I'm going to run through briefly. But a self-directed IRA really isn't a special type of IRA at all. That self-directed part really is designed to let you know that you have the freedom to pick your own investment. So a self-directed IRA legally isn't any different than an IRA that you would maybe see at Fidelity, a Charles Schwab, something like that. It's really just the type of investment you can invest in. So we specialize in alternative assets, non-traditional assets, things like notes, real estate, private entities, cryptocurrency, oil and gas, those types of investments, rather than just your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, things like that. And the benefit that you get by having that self-directed IRA is the diversification, of course, the tax benefits that you get, but you also have that social impact when you're investing in your community, fixing up those local houses, employing, workers that may be in your city. And of course, using the expertise that you know and investing into what you know best. We have 7 different types of accounts, and I'm not going to run through all of them, but this slide is designed to show you that there are multiple different types of accounts that you can self-direct, each kind of with their own benefit. You've got personal plans that are the most common, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, the Roth that gives you that tax-free benefit. But you also have employer plans. If you pay yourself some sort of self-employment income, you may qualify for one of these. They're great for putting in larger contribution limits, but also kind of getting a little bit more control over what you can do, with your business as well. And then lastly, if you're looking for, maybe qualified health expenses, qualified educational expenses, we have the specialty of plans, which are the health savings account and the Coverdell. Like I said, you can always call us and ask them. We can help you decide which one may be best for your situation. And then lastly, these are all the different types of investments that you can invest into with your self-directed IRA. You're not limited to just these, but this is just designed to show you there really are so many possibilities when you're investing with a self-directed IRA. But if you want to get more information and maybe the classes are just not scratching the surface, you want to dive really deep into it, I want to share this event with you. This is our Masters of Tax Avoidance Bootcamp that we're going to be having in Houston. So we're going to be bringing out, of course, as you see, it's here March 30th. So it's right before tax time, right? We're going to be bringing out a lot of people that are going to dive into UDFI, UBIT, maybe some things you need to be looking out for when you're doing your taxes this year. And then we're also going to, of course, talk about alternative investing, maybe some oil and gas, and bringing those experts in as well. That one is in person, and we are going to be selling tickets for that one. So I do have a special code for you that I'm going to have Colin, who's our moderator, put it in the chat box for you. But if you use the code today, MTA50, it's going to get you 50% off of that ticket. So normally it's $150. It's going to chop it down to $75. That code is only special for the people that are a part of the event right now. So if you would like to get that discount, feel free. Like I said, it's going to be MTA50. We'll put it in the chat. But that's going to be a one-day crash course boot camp of high-level education that you won't get from any of our other events. But if you're ready to get started, or maybe you know somebody who is, send them on over, refer your friends. You will both get a $25 credit to your account. And if you do have questions, feel free to schedule your consultation with that QR code. Either call us, email us, talk to us in the live chat on our website. And like I said, we'll be able to help. But without further ado, I'm going to end my slides. I'm going to bring Eric up. He is our speaker for the day. I had the pleasure of actually kind of getting to know him a little bit at the Note Expo a couple months ago. And I get a lot of his emails. I really wanted to bring him up today. He's a new speaker to our stage. So Eric, I'm going to go ahead and welcome you on up.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it on a Saturday morning, my time here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live. And so I appreciate you guys having me on. This is like one of my favorite communities to speak to with self-directed IRAs, because I've been doing this business since 2004. And when I quit corporate America in 2004, I self-directed my IRA as well. And I've been investing it ever since. I've done lots of business with self-directed IRA investors, as well as educated them on what I do so they can do the same thing. So I appreciate you having me here. This is always fun. So
I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little feedback here. So bear with me because we are on StreamYard, and for some reason my PowerPoint is not fitting perfectly. So I'm going to go through it here. So anyway, my name is Eric Sage. I have a company called Creative Dealmaker. We consult and teach people how to create notes, and we generate infinite ROI with almost little or no risk. So I'm going to go into the presentation. My goal today is to brain dump as much as I can with you. And then at the end, I want to take some questions if possible and go into in more detail. So I'm going to tell you kind of a little bit about what we do. I'm going to give you a case study. I'm going to give you kind of some statistics about the massive opportunity. And today, it's January 2023. The opportunities that we have to work with this type of investment strategy in real estate, as well as if you have an IRA like you guys do, it's you can do this with your IRA or without it. So anyway, the question is it possible to generate infinite ROI with almost zero risk? Okay. And I apologize. Some of these slides are a little bit off, but I'm just going to kind of go through it. So what if I could show you how to get cash now? Okay. Upfront cash, monthly cash flow, and cash later without owning any real estate. Wouldn't that be cool? Yes, it would. It really would. So what if you didn't have to rehab any properties, deal with tenants, and do this anywhere in the world, which I do now? What if you guys could learn that? So what I'm going to talk about today is the Be the Bank blueprint, how to become the bank. Now, keep in your mind, just before we get started here, if you guys have a mortgage, when was the last time you called your bank and talked to them about anything other than maybe to get more money? Okay, so think about that as we go through this and how this strategy is pretty passive. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is learn how to control versus own, think and act and be the bank. We're going to talk about how to get upfront cash now, monthly cash flow, and cash later, almost zero cash or risk. So we're doing this stuff with little or no money when we're all done. The way we strategically use this strategy, we're going to generate infinite ROI. We're not dealing with tenants. We're not dealing with trash. We're not dealing with toilets. No rehabs needed because of the way we structure and buy our assets and sell them. And we can operate from anywhere in the world. And that's why if you guys look at banks, they're on all the most famous corners of your city, and they manage massive amounts of loans. Okay. So a little bit why you want to listen to me. Why do you want to listen to Eric Sage with Creative Dealmaker? I've been doing this since 2004. It's really funny. My very first real estate transaction, investment transactions other than a typical rental, was door knocking pre-foreclosures. And the money that I received to do the foreclosure bailout, which is what I was doing, came from an IRA investor to help a family. Okay. Now, when I did that, I helped somebody get out of foreclosure. There was a very tough time in their life. That was in 2004. We are in 2023. And because I was able to help them stop foreclosure and bail them out of their situation, give them the opportunity to stay in the home and purchase it again, which I would probably do it again, but in a different way in 2023 from all the liabilities. But that family that I helped out, that I showed up and I got to use my strategy and technique to help them from a very tough time, still lives in that house today. And that's why I teach what I do. That's why Nick, my business partner, Nick Legamaro, he's my business partner as well. That's why we teach what we do, because we want to share the opportunities that what we do to help other families and actually create home ownership. So that's why I guess why you want to listen to this. And if you wait till the end, we're going to give you, I have a ebook called the $4.7 trillion Secret. We have the note selling formula. We have a private Facebook group that you guys can get in. We do weekly office hours lives for free. So you can get into our community. We have over 6,000 people in our group right now. And we'd love to have you in there to talk about this stuff. So we'll go from there. So who's this for? Okay. Well, this is for wholesalers. So a wholesaler is somebody that, if you don't know much about real estate, they go and tie up contracts and then they sell the contracts to people like me who wants to buy the property and create home ownership for deserving families. Fix and flippers. If you guys watch HGTV, people that fix and flip and make communities better and nicer and prettier. Curious real estate investors, note investors, burned out landlords, and obviously self-directed IRA investors can really benefit from this strategy. So why this class matters. Creative Dealmaker has been the most requested training. People ask me all the time, and it's crazy right now in 2023 how many people are like, I'm tired of being a landlord. I'm tired of having an Airbnb. I'm tired of dealing with all this stuff. How do you guys have all these notes and you just keep buying more and not stress out about having volume? And so, anyways, we've used this exact system to create over 700 notes with creative financing. It's well over 1,000 now since I created this slide. And we're ready to show you how to do the same. You're going to learn how to turn dead deals into profitable deals if you're a real estate investor, and leverage resources to free up your time to get more deals closed and honestly have freedom. Okay, that's the real thing. What is your freedom number? Think about this. If you guys have your IRAs or whatever sitting in the accounts, and maybe it's not vested, think about the opportunities that might come, the number that you need to retire to be financially free. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Quick testimonial. My last deal I picked up for $123,000, didn't touch it. I was able to turn around and sell it for $170,000 with $15,000 down, all within 30 days. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a case study on this deal. He profited $6,600 cash collected up front, $25,000 second lien. And these types of deals that Creative Dealmaker will open your eyes up. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Thanks, Cody, for that testimonial. So let's talk about note investing. Okay, a lot of our IRA investors, they understand the note business. They understand the real estate business. Some people know just the notes. Some people know the real estate. We're going to bring both of these together into one and make it a very profitable business, as well as, really, my point is to help homeowners that deserve help people that need home ownership, want home ownership, can afford home ownership, but aren't able to get traditional bank financing. That's where we come in. So that is right now, the seller carryback note market is a $30 billion with a B business. 30 billion. Okay. That was last year. So the opportunities are endless right now. And so with our strategy, we're going to teach you how to do this either one a year or one a day. I mean, the opportunities are endless. Okay. So why be the bank? Be the bank is control versus own. We are lien lords, not landlords. Okay. It's a $30 billion secret end market. It's economics 101. And so amortization versus depreciation. My amortization now is my appreciation because of how we structure our notes. What's a pretty buyer avatar? And then we're going to talk about the Zillow test. And I'll go through this in this presentation. Okay. So what is be the bank? So being the bank is, as you guys know, if you guys have loans, if you don't have a loan, or if you do have a loan, is banks own, they control the assets. They don't own anything, okay? They make their money on the amortization, not depreciation. So people want to know, okay, well, I'm getting note income, so I'm paying income on that, higher income on that. So I don't get all the depreciation. But think about owning real estate, all the expenses that go into that, right? You've got taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancies, repairs, management. Did I talk about 6 things just off the top of my head that are expenses, and to get a few $100s a month? And a lot of times you have to have leverage involved. We're going to teach you how to do what we do, being a lien lord, with no leverage, we don't owe anyone any money when we're done with this system that I'm going to talk about. Okay. So please, you guys, as I'm talking here, please put all your questions in the chat. I want to answer as many as I can when I'm finished with this presentation. So the other thing that's great is our asset is secured. It's a deed, it's a lien on the property. So if something happens, we have control over to either foreclose and get our money back or take the property back and do it again, okay? So that's lien lord versus landlord. So why does this model work? Well, we obviously talked about before, it's a $30 billion market. And it's just amazing. The majority of people out there are, and I'll probably say this in another slide, but people rent because they have to rent, not because they want to rent, okay? The other thing is it's low risk, high yield. It's securitized, means we secure our money's secured to a hard asset. And I know we talked about Bitcoin and all these other things going on in the market in 2023 at the end of 2022. Our money's safe and secure. I didn't skip a beat on any of my loans that I have right now, okay? Pretty buyers are getting scarce. So when pretty buyers are getting scarce and harder to get loans, guess who they need to come to? People like us. People like us. So like it says, 80% of renters rent because they have to rent, not because they want to rent. People want to own their home. And that's why I wake up every day. I love waking up going, we're going to talk about where to find some of this stuff. But I woke up today and I got a deal sent to me, and I already have a buyer for that deal. I already have the buyers lined up in my market. All I need is the deal, and I can put the deal together and provide homeownership for a family that deserves it, that has a good down payment, has ability to pay, all that stuff. So international buyers are a huge market for us. In our market, I'm in Arizona, so border states are big. We're going to talk about that as well. The power of amortization is amazing. If you guys know how amortization works, and I'll show you in my little case study on a simple deal that you can duplicate over and over again. And we're going to talk about the Ford F-150 and depreciation. Does depreciation really matter when I can just go buy another deal? Okay, so we'll talk about that. For me, really, I do note investing for single family homes, and I do I invest in commercial to get my tax benefits, so I can kind of offset that. But we can talk about that in the chat if you guys want. Okay, slides messed up a little bit, so bear with me. I'm so sorry. So here's the 10-step quick start plan, okay, to generate infinite ROI, low risk, zero cash, and zero cash. Wait a minute. Low risk with zero cash out of pocket, okay, to get cash now, cash flow, cash later in the note creation business is what we're going to talk about here. So how do you do this? You got to find the deal. You got to calculate the maximum owner finance value. That's what MOFV stands for. Identify the difference between owner finance value and after repair value. We can talk about that. Determine the right exit strategy, the as is versus remodeling evaluations. I do not rehab houses. God forbid. I really wish I was better at it, to be honest with you. But I'm not. I just don't have that vision. But what I love to do is find great deals and sell them to people that deserve home ownership. Okay, it's a feel good thing for me. So custom profitability calculator, we're going to talk about that. We're going to give that to you. By the way, at the end, we're going to give you all this stuff. Funding options, how do we fund our deals? How to find the owner finance buyers. That's always been a trick for a lot of people. We're going to talk about that in our case study. Creating and selling the first lien mortgage. So that's the trick right now to what we're talking about. We're going to create a first and second lien. We're going to sell the first, keep the second, which is all of our profit, plus the upfront cash, okay? And we're going to sell off the first, and we're going to have no risk. So we don't have to borrow money. This is not, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Burr model, but it's the Burr model on steroids, in my opinion. So that's where you generate cash now, cash flow, and a lump sum payout. Okay. So the process simplified. So bear with me. I had highlighted the simple side of this, okay? But somehow when I imported this into StreamYard, it added all of them. So that doesn't look very simple. Oops. That doesn't look very simple to me either. But so here's the deal. Here's what you need to do. You need to find a property and analyze it, okay? Do you need to find the owner finance buyer? No, we can outsource all of this, especially if you're an IRA investor. You can pretty much outsource this whole model. You just need to know how to do it and what to look for, okay? Do you have to underwrite the buyer? No, we can outsource that. Do you got to stack the collateral file, which is the most important part of making this asset worth something? No, you don't need to do that. We're going to outsource that. We're going to create the mortgage note. We're outsourcing that. Sell the first note for max value. No, we're outsourcing that. But all we're going to do is get cash now, cash flow, cash later, and we're going to rinse and repeat. So at the bottom, cash now, cash flow, cash later. Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to rinse and repeat. We're going to find the property and analyze it. Everything else in the middle, we can outsource. I'm going to tell you how to do that, okay? So be the bank blueprint, infinite ROI with almost no risk and zero cash needed, cash now, cash flow, cash later when you get the payoff. So literal no rehab needed. Like, who loves rehabbing, okay? Especially now, for God's sakes. When you rehab, you don't know, I mean, we don't know the cost of anything anymore. It's harder to get materials. Labor's impossible. It's becoming a disaster. Okay, so I apologize, but hang on one second. I'm going to get to my other slide here so I can get caught up. So I apologize for this. So if you're listening or watching, you might have to write some of this down. So I'm going to do a case study. It's called, this is our deal. It's called North Dallas Street. It's in Texas. Okay, and if you can see here, it says buy price. I'm doing a case study right now. So our buy price was $129,000. How did we get it? We found this from a wholesaler. So a wholesaling company, they specialize in going and finding off-market deals, not on the MLS, multiple listing service, not on market. They're off-market, and they know what I'm looking for. So they go out, they spend all their money in marketing and all these dollars to make a few bucks to give me the property so I can go and do what I do, which is sell the home to a deserving homeowner, okay? How did I buy this property with no money? I got it funded, if you can see here, where it says hard with the M, that's hard money. That means I went and borrowed from a private investor that lends money to me to acquire these properties, okay? And how did I exit out of the deal to pay off my hard money lender, which is always a big secret. People are like, how the heck do I pay off my hard money? I borrowed the money, and then now I have to pay him off, and I'm still creating the note and all this stuff. It's very confusing to me. Well, how did I exit it? I sold the first lien. I sold the first lien, and guess who I sold the first lien to that we created? That's super turnkey, that's fully underwritten. It's just a quality piece of paper. We sold it to an IRA investor, bought this deal. They bought the lien. So you're going to get to see the cash flow that if that's one of the strategies that you guys want to do. So here's a simple model. If you guys are going to go out and just find your own deals and you get an email like I did this morning before I got on this call and a deal was sent to me at a certain dollar amount, all I do is I plugged in the price, I divided it by 0.75, and that came up to my minimum owner finance value. So whatever that list price was, if I divide by 0.75 and I see the minimum owner finance value and that fits my model, which is, so just guys keep in mind here, when we buy houses, we're buying them wholesale. That 129 price, which you will see some of the comps, was a wholesale price. That means I bought it way under market. And then I can pass on without doing any rehab to my seller finance buyer I don't have to increase it. A lot of people teach this stuff and they go, oh, well, I'll just increase the price by 20% over market, blah, blah, blah. That's not a value to the buyer. They're upside down. And so what we do is we give them, when they put their down payment down and they purchase this property and they add value, they have equity. And that's what we want, okay? That's what we want. We want our buyers to have equity because we want to get paid so we don't get calls. And so, I mean, how many people right now have equity in their house? Raise their hand, put it in the chat. I have lots of equity in my house. Are you going to default on that thing? No, because you have a fixed mortgage. Because since 2010-ish, every mortgage that was originated was a fixed mortgage, not the whole option arm things and pick a payment thing and all the things that I was dealing with when I originally got in this market. So you have fixed mortgages. We're providing fixed mortgages to our owner finance buyers. Okay, so determining the sales price, the sale. So here's what we did. Here's how we reverse engineered the deal. Okay, the max ARV, that's the max after repair value. That's after it's fixed up. As you can see here, is around $215,000. We have a 30% rehab credit was $9,000. So what we did is we give our buyers. We don't give them. It says here, if you see in the slide, it says $30,000 rehab estimate. What's the majority of rehab? It's labor. It's labor. Well, guess what they're going to do? Use their sweat equity to make it pretty and nice and add value, right? So we're just going to give them the material cost as a credit, which adds more value to our deal, okay? So anyway, the 206, we have the maximum owner finance value. That's what we could have charged on this deal. I think what happened is, in the slide, if I'm not mistaken, is we got a great deal, we got a great buyer, we gave them some value, and we just moved on because we're all about velocity of money, right? When you guys rehab houses, if you've ever rehabbed a house, if you ever watched HGTV, and you see all these guys doing these amazing, cool things, how long does it take to do a rehab half the time? 3 to 6 months, if not a year, to get rid of this stuff. We're selling these houses, as you will see, in 45 days or less with no rehab. It's great. And guess what? If you don't have to do rehab and deal with all the stuff, you could do this in your IRA. That's the coolest part about this. You guys can plug this stuff in when it's done and see your return if this was an IRA investing in it, okay? And if you're like, I don't want to do any of it. I just want to buy this $132,000 first lien and get a 9.5% interest rate on my money. People do it all the time. That's why they come to us and ask us. We sell a lot of our loans to our IRA investors. Okay. So anyway, so here's what we did. Sidetrack. Sorry, I get a little excited about this stuff. So what we did is we sold the house here, if you can see, for $175,000, which was under the maximum owner finance value. But we wanted to move and shake. Our buyer's agent came in and got it sold quickly. We were fine with it, okay? The buyer put $15,000 down. So what we did is, how in the world are we going to get rid of the $129,000 cost that we bought this for? We sold the first lien. We created a first lien for $132,000. As you can see here, we created a second lien for $28,000, and we're getting a 10.5% interest on a $28,000 second lien that we have no cost in. How many of those would you guys do? Put in the chat. How many deals would you do if you had zero cost in the deals? I'm going to give you an answer. As many as you can, right? As many as you can. So anyway, so here's the deal. So market value. So what we do is we pull comps. We can go through the MLS, and we have a couple different services now. Now there's Privy. I don't know if you guys have heard of Privy. Privy is a platform that has pretty much all MLS data, and I think we have an affiliate link to that. Doesn't matter. Just if you guys have any questions, you can get access to us after this and ask those questions too. But anyway, my point is we pulled comps. So here's the cool thing: the house that we bought is there's a value there of 197. If you can see this, 230, 200. 215 is the ARV. Like we're getting good deals, so we're passing on the deals, the equity to our borrowers, so we can get the cash flow on the second lien. Right. Here's some more comps here. It's a similar value, similar location. I think on here it has like how far it is. It's pretty. They're all within the same area. So that's what we do. We pull comps to make sure our agents. And here's the thing: we outsource all this. Our agents do a lot of the work for us. Our team. So determining the sales price. We already kind of went through that. That we had the $215,000 after repair value. $9,000 credit. We gave them a $9,000 credit, not a $30,000 credit. And so they're going to have a lot of equity, because look at this. They're going to owe $160,000 on this property, when the value is going to be, after repairs, in that $215,000 range. Is that cool, right? So what are the chances of them defaulting, calling you? I just talked to a guy today. He has like $6 million worth of Airbnbs. What is he doing right now? He's getting rid of them. You know why? Because he self-managed them, and then he outsourced them, and he wasn't making any money, and he has all this debt equity. He's like, man, if I could just get a coupon paid to me every month, wouldn't that be great? And I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. That's why he contacts us. He's like, I need to learn how to do more of this stuff with you. Okay. So anyway, that's how that deal worked. So the as is modeling, I'm going to go down. I'm still going. Sorry. I'm just trying to get caught up so I can see some of these screens. Okay. So the as is deal modeling, that's what that says. And we call it grandma's house. Grandma's house. Why do we call it grandma's house? We call it grandma's houses is because our homes that we buy, they're not down to the studs. They're not fire damage. These are homes that, I don't want to say older people, but I don't know if you have a grandma, you've been in her house. My grandma, I walk in there, the place is immaculate, okay? You can eat off the floors, but it doesn't have granite and hardwood floors and no popcorn on the ceilings and all new fixtures and stuff. But it's clean and it's habitable, that a borrower like ours could move into it and do all the fun, cool stuff that they want to do and make it pretty. And we don't have to do any rehab. That's why we search for these specific type of properties. So next, what we do is we analyze it. We have this really cool, crazy spreadsheet that we created. It's a little daunting. I'm not a spreadsheet person. I'm a deal person. I'm a ready, fire, aim person. I don't get super into the but we have a lot of engineer people on this call. We have a lot of engineer people in our group that I consult and help out, and they love the spreadsheets. But here's the thing. You see all the yellow in there? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 8 different fields. You fill out the fields and it pops out the answer at the bottom, and it's a model. It gives you an idea where if I plug in those $129,000 purchase price and I plug in everything else, which is a lot of this is auto-filled on your expenses, and it pops out a $7,000 or $8,000 profit plus a free and clear second lien, I'm good to go and I move forward on the deal, okay? So I have 10-year projections here that you see. We're gonna give you this spreadsheet, by the way, at the end. You can have access to all this stuff. We want you to, I want to provide as much value as I can to you guys. And so we'll give all this stuff to you at the end. So don't freak out. It's actually probably hard to see. Anyway, so next, so the Dallas Street Kaufman deal, we're going to kind of break down how it all went down, where all the money went, and how we were able to have a free and clear note and make cash now, cash flow, cash later. Okay. So as you know, in the before slides, we have $129,000 purchase price. Did we do any repairs? No. And did we get a hard money loan or a private money loan? So a lot of times we get private money loans from our IRA investors that want short-term returns and don't want to lock up their money for a long period of time. And then we have some of our IRA investors or private investors that want more long-term returns on their money. And maybe they're like, I'm 50 years old, so maybe I have a lot more time before I turn 59 and a half, and I just want that money to sit there and accumulate with not a lot of stress and management, right? So anyway, that cost us $4,000. So phase one was so here's what happened. We purchased the property. The wholesaler, the investor that found it for us, they received a $6,500 fee. So they got paid a nice little fee to go out and do their thing. And we also paid here, gosh, I can't believe this, 12.9% and 2 points. Okay, we paid 12.9% and 2 points and still made money on this deal. Okay, actually now I don't even think we're paying that anymore, but that's what we did on this specific deal, and it still made sense. Okay, the best part about 2023, by the way, is these deals are everywhere. They're everywhere, every city, every state. There's opportunities like this, and there's opportunities for buyers that deserve homeownership. Okay, so anyway, so this is what grandma's house would look like. Okay, this isn't. I mean, it's not bad. It's nice. We've got some laminate flooring. We got the old brown walls. We have we got the ceiling fans. We got popcorn. If you can see, different tile. There's not stainless steel appliances. None of this. But this is a beautiful home that somebody could bring their family in and live for a long period of time, right? It also has, this was clean. Like literally the one I just got on my cell phone today was identical to this. I couldn't believe it came in. I'm like, boom, I'll take it. I will actually go drive it this afternoon, but I still want to see it anyway, but to give it some eyes on it. But you don't have to. You can do this from anywhere. Okay, you can have a team do all this. That's one of the problems doing stuff locally is you're like, oh, I'll just go see it, rather than have your system see it. The system do it. Okay. Anyway, sidetrack. Sorry. So this is what this property looks like. I mean, we didn't even this particular property. We did have the system do it. We didn't even go see this property. You know, you've got a ceiling fan in the bathroom for some reason. That's a added bonus to whoever's buying it. Pretty clean property. It's habitable. But you know what they'll do? They'll gut the bathroom. They'll put new flooring in. We left them. If you can see this, we left them a vacuum and a space heater in there. That was a little bonus for them. But these are the types of houses. This is what they look like. They're clean. They're blocked. They have AC units. They're not bad. Okay. So anyway, so that's kind of how the house looked. Okay. So what happens now? You're like, how do I find the dang buyers? What did I do to find this buyer? Now, there's multiple ways of doing it. But what happened with us is we've been in our market for so long. We're in the Dallas, Texas market. We're in all of Texas, all of Arizona. It's kind of our main thing, but this can be done from anywhere, and you can duplicate what I'm talking about in any market. There's certain markets you might want to stay away from in regards to the mortgage world that are more landlord and banker friendly, which is what I would do. And as doing this virtually, you can do that. So anyways, back to finding buyers. The cool thing is we went on the MLS, okay? We have access, and we found a house that just sold in the area, which was right down the street from this. And we looked at what it sold for. Look at this. Look at this house. It sold for 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,500 square feet. Sold for $219,000. It was listed for listed for $219,000. Sold for $230,000. It sold for more than list price. Had 23 days on the market. Okay. Now this was in 2021. So, but the market is starting to have these opportunities, especially at this price point. So don't look at the dates as much as what we're doing today, because in fact, the market is now opening up for us again because all the big investors and hedge funds and stuff are starting to fall out of the market. It's giving us more opportunities to get better deals. That's what it's doing. Which the better deals we get, the more we can pass on the value to our buyers and make them a tremendous amount of money and provide great opportunities for people to have to get home ownership, which is the goal here. Okay. So what we did is we called up Lorena and said, hey, Lorena, I know you had one house, had multiple offers. Clearly, if it sold over list, how many houses can she sell? How many houses can she sell other than this one house? One house, right? You think she had more buyers? Sure, she did. So what we did was just call her and say, hey, you have any more buyers? We have a house down the street. It's off market. We're offering seller financing. So do you think Lorena Velasquez may have a buyer that isn't able to get traditional bank financing? The answer is yes, they do. A lot of people have buyers that have great down payments, that are fully qualified, but just aren't able to go down to the local bank and get a loan. So that's how you find buyers. Okay. So we went through this already, determining the sales price. We went through the comps already. I'm going to pass on this slide. We already went through it. So hold on 1 second. Just give me caught back up. I apologize. My slides are not doing well. So we went through so we're going to recap the deal. So we have, we bought it with private money or hard money. And okay. So here's where the question's asked. It says sell with a wrap mortgage. What in the heck is a wrap mortgage? Okay. We bought the house for $129,000. We have a mortgage on it for $129,000. And then, I don't know if you can see my hands. I'm handsy. And then we sold it and have a $160,000 mortgage, 2 notes on it. Well, those 2 notes are going to wrap over the top of that mortgage. Okay. That's why we create the wrap. That's kind of the secret sauce here. And then once it's done and created, we sell off the first, and that pays off the underlying debt. And then the underlying debt has the note buyer has that first lien. And then the second lien is what we get, and we get paid on perpetuity until it pays off. There's other strategies on the payoff part, but we're not going to talk about that today. But there's amazing opportunities. Okay, so let's talk about the note sale. So now that we have found it, we found the buyer, we rehabbed it, which we did nothing to. Okay, and now how do we get out of this deal? How do we do it? We sell the note. We sell the first note. So here's the deal. So we're going to talk through the the seller financing price here is $175,000. The down payment was 8.6%, which is $15,000. Now, why wouldn't we take more down? Okay, typically we would, but here's what's the cool thing about these properties is that when you sell these to these types of seller finance buyers, the cool things, go back by in 6 months and see what it looks like. I don't know if you looked at the slide before, but there was a carport. No, there was a one-car garage. Probably you're going to drive back. That one-car garage is now a bedroom that they remodeled. They probably did a whole new landscape package. They gutted it, made it their own, and now the house is worth $215,000. So think about your risk on these types of loans if you have a first or second lien. It's very low. It's very low because they have real money in this deal, $15,000 plus their rehab. Okay, so then we did a seller finance first at 75%. Now in 2023, we're starting to see some volatility, right? So we're dropping our prices in that 72% range, but we're still fine with 70. It just depends on the deal, but we're trying to stay in that 72 to 75% range. So at 75%, we have $132,000 first lien at 9.5%. Now our rates are going to 10 and 10.5. We can still make money at 9.5 because we're buying wholesale and selling retail. So there's plenty of room for us to make money even at these numbers in today's market. So sell the first lien with no seasoning. So we create the first and the second. We sell the first, which pays off our cost in the deal. Please, by the way, if I'm confusing anyone, please put your questions in the chat. That would be great. Anyway, we sell off that first lien. We took a little bit of a discount off the first lien, which is $128,000. And USA Note Pro is one of our entities that we buy notes for ourselves, as for Ashley, and we actually can sell for other people as well. And then we had a seller finance. So here's the profit. The seller finance second at 16% at $28,000. That's our profit. That's our profit. Okay. And then we get a monthly payment of $256 a month of free and clear cash flow. We have no cost in the deal. Okay. So how many $28,000 second liens would you have that have no cost in, and you don't owe anyone any more money? I mean, the traditional rental property gets you this, but guess what you had to do? You had to go qualify for a mortgage, and you have to pay for that mortgage. There's risk there. This is a no risk model when you're all said and done. Excuse me. I'm going to get some water. Hold, please. All right. So wouldn't that be awesome? How many of those, how many 256? And right now our second liens, they're more in the $40,000 range, which is about high 300s to 400 a month. How many of those do you need to be financially free? And I will tell you, the majority, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people every week, and it seems to be that 10,000 a month number at retirement is a pretty good number today. Obviously, it could be going up, but it's a nice replacement, a job replacements for husband or wife. And there's not a lot to do once you do it. Okay. So here's the deal. So here's the 45-day summary. So keep in mind, we got the down payment. Where did that $15,000 go? Like, who got that money? Well, we got $8,250 of that $15,000. That's the down payment. We paid off the first lien. Okay. Even with a discount, we still made $8,250. We made more than the wholesaler made just on the upfront cash. And we get $256 a month on a $28,000 second lien secured to the property. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to have another drink here. Take a break, breathe. I know you guys are excited. You've probably never heard anything like this ever, and how awesome it is, because it is awesome. All right. So now it gets great. This is where it gets really good. The numbers. Okay. If you're numbers people, which I am. So here's the thing. When you sell a house to a seller finance buyer that needs financing, that isn't able to get traditional bank financing, majority of our buyers are never going to get traditional financing. They just aren't. That's why they're willing to pay a little bit of a premium. Now, keep in mind, some people are like, hey, why in the world would they pay 10.5% for a mortgage? That's crazy. When rates are rates are 7, 8 now, but even at 3.5% were rates, they were paying this. You know why? Because it's equal to or equivalent to what rent would be to own that house, and they get 30 years to pay it off. They'll never get kicked out if they're being paid. Okay. That's the other one thing. The other thing they ask. So let me ask you a question, Mr. or Mrs. Tenant or agent. I have a lot of realtors like, that's crazy. That's too much money. Well, what is their return? What's their interest rate on rent? What's their interest rate on rent? Well, there isn't any, because they're a tenant. They don't own anything. They don't get the tax benefits. They don't any of that stuff. So anyway, off my soapbox, 10-year projection, cash now, cash flow, lump sum later. Where does the lump sum come from? Well, we'll talk about it. So let's just say a 10-year projection, the transactional cash, which is the upfront cash, that's our flip money, okay? We got $8,250. The monthly payments was $30,720, okay? Basically take $256 a month times 120 months. That's the cash flow. And this is where it blows people's minds. Put $28,000 into an amortization schedule, okay? And well, can you believe 10 years later, they still owe you $25,653 in 10 years? So let's just say it goes 10 years, they pay the thing off, and they're done, okay? By then, you've done a lot more of these, but you still get that check. You get that $25,000 check when they sell the house. You just get a big chunk of money, and then you'll probably go put it into another deal. So the total cash received on this deal, the 10-year projection was almost $65,000, and you don't owe anyone a penny, okay? Now you can put yourself in. I have a lot of investors like, Eric, I don't want to do any of this stuff. I want you to go find a great house. I want you to find a great buyer. I want you to create a first lien at between 8 and 10%. And I just want that. And then you can stay in second and fix anything if it happens. That happens a lot to us. That happens a lot to us because they love what we do. They love our model. Okay. So let's recap. We found the house through a wholesaler or realtor. Well, I guess the recap here is who's this for? Wholesalers, realtors, fix and flippers, landlords, private and hard money lenders. This is for IRA investors, which is you guys, and note buyers. And obviously we buy notes too. So throughout the slides here, I'm sure you've seen this little QR code or this, QR code. You can take a picture of that. But at the end, I'm going to give you this stuff anyway. So that is kind of the overview on how a particular deal that we did works. Okay, that's a sample. Okay, these deals happen every day. I just got a call from a client today. He's buying a house for $60,000 and selling it for $120,000 with $12,000 down because the seller needed to get out of the property quickly. Okay, so the deals are phenomenal right now. The deals are phenomenal. Okay, so top states. One of the things that people like to talk about is where in the heck do you find these things? Where's the best place to buy and create notes? Because we're note creators. Okay, Texas has almost 24% of all seller finance notes are in Texas. Why is that? Well, because Texas, just like Arizona, they're landlord friendly and bank friendly. So do you want to go to a place where you can't foreclose on somebody? No, you probably wouldn't. But you can still do it. Here's the greatest thing about our borrowers, and knock on wood, of all the loans I've done in the last probably almost 10 years, I have very few defaults on the ones that I've created from scratch because they're good quality borrowers. They have a fixed payment. They have tons of equity now. It's a good deal. So you can go to Texas and Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina and all these great places. I probably wouldn't go to New York because of the laws on foreclosures. But these are the places to go. There's plenty. There's enough business just in these border states for the rest of your life when creating notes, right? So hold please. I'm going to go to my next slide, which is why do investors love our note creation program? And I apologize, it just didn't fit in here. Well, number one, it's passive. It's really, really passive. Okay, I have notes that I originate, or I didn't originate, but I invested in the ones I created and sold, and sold the first, kept the second. I haven't done anything in probably 7 or 8 years except collect the money. I just been collecting the money. There's nothing to do. It's great income, and it's a great way to build your retirement, especially in your IRA. You just let it sit and builds up again, and go do another one, get reimbursed, do it again, rinse and repeat. Okay. There's very low management when creating a note if it's created properly, and that's what we do. We're masters. Nick, my business partner, is a master note creator and just packaging it perfectly so it has the maximum value. We're not just doing this on the back of a napkin. Like, these are all done at the right way. Okay, and I'll go through that as well. The loans are secured. So if God forbid there's a correction in the market, it's secured. It's secured to the property. Even if they file bankruptcy, that's secured. Our borrowers, knock on wood, typically don't file bankruptcy because they don't have a lot of debt. We've given them the opportunity to have some debt, good debt, to have home ownership. Okay. The other thing is our loans are secured to real estate, and they're written the same every time. Here's the coolest thing about some of the investors we work with. They love our notes. You know why? Because I don't know if you guys have gone in and researched how to be a note investor. Well, there's a million different ways. You can go buy non-performing notes. That's a job, okay? And then create it performing, and then sell it and rinse and repeat and all this stuff. If you and then you have to underwrite like all these different notes and all the paperwork and stuff. Our paperwork's the same every time. So a lot of the note investors that invest with us, there's nothing to do because the paper's the same. They don't have to do anything other than fund the deal and collect their money the following month. And it's immediate. You fund and get paid. These aren't like syndications where you're not sure when and if you're ever going to get your money back. Here's the other thing people don't understand. Notes are actually liquid. You can borrow against your notes. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Anyway, average rate of return for our for note investments for these types of deals at 75% loan to value is between a 7 and 10%, and it's amortized. That's why banks make so much money is they amortize. They get paid first. They front load it on their side, right? The other thing we love is we help deserving families that deserve home ownership. It's the greatest thing in the world. When I'll give you guys an example. So I had a family, they worked at this Mexican food restaurant. They've been there for like, I don't know, 15, 20 years. Okay. They'd saved $28,000 working there. And they've been a tenant their whole life, husband and wife. They're an older couple. And they're going to keep working, doing their thing, but they've been a tenant their whole lives. 2 weeks later, okay, I found a house. I went to my my realtor that specializes in looking for these types of buyers and has these buyers to help them for home ownership. And I call up Frank. I'm like, hey, Frank, I got a house at 123 Main Street. Can you help me? Or can you help me sell it? He's like, yeah. So he found it. This is the couple. 2 weeks later, they went from being a tenant to an owner 2 weeks later. Greatest feeling ever, right? Greatest feeling ever. So also having here $100 million worth of notes will net you an additional $80,000 a year, which is cool. What do we have here? Experienced creative deal maker. So I recently brought a deal to Eric and Nick, and they wanted to get their opinion on. I own several notes, and we usually are adding 4 to 5 new real estate notes a month. But they were able to show me a way to structure my note that completely blew my mind, which is this. I hope this is blowing your mind. I will be structuring all my notes the way that Eric and Nick taught me. And moving forward, they have a wealth of knowledge, and it comes when it comes to the real estate note industry. Jory, this guy, he actually lives in Dominican Republic. He does all his stuff remotely. He's super successful, and he loves notes. Okay, so back to the process simplified. I think we talked about this before. All you got to do is find the property and analyze it with the calculator that I give you, and then outsource the rest. You can outsource the buyer, which I do to realtors. All the underwriting, the buyer, the stacking of the collateral file, which is so important, that's done correctly, creating the note and selling the first note for max value, all of that can be outsourced, all of it. And it can all be done correctly. And in fact, you should outsource it to a qualified person in the first place. Don't do it yourself. You don't want to screw it up. Just sit back, find it, analyze it, and then rinse and repeat. That's the deal. So done for you. Underwrite the buyer, stack. So these are the things that are done for you. I just talked about that. Underwriting the buyer, that's done for you. Stacking the buyer, that's done for you. Creating the first and second loan, no, that's done for you. And selling the first loan, that's done for you as well. If you put the right teams together, right? You build your team, and then you just go out and find great deals, right? So I apologize for this slide. It's very, very hard to read. But what I'm doing now is, just so you guys know, I'm just kind of talking to you about the process and the who that does everything when you're finding these types of cash flowing assets with no creation, right? So underwriting the buyer. So when the buyer is underwritten, the purchase and sale agreement, the inspections and appraisals and warranties, all that stuff is done through someone else. You know, what is an RMLO? An RMLO is a residential mortgage loan originator. This is super important right now in our market to do this the right way and have somebody that does it for you. And why would they do that? You can't see this, but Dodd-Frank is basically regulations that the government created for when the market crashed in 2007, 2008. And right now, that's what we do. Everyone we sell a house to, we prove that they have the ability to pay. So they can't come back to us and go, oh, Eric just sold me this house. He knew I couldn't afford $1,800 a month or whatever the number was. And so I want my money back plus all the interest. No, that's all done and signed off on by licensed professionals, okay? That's the deal. These are qualified mortgages. They fit the interest rate guidelines. There's and usury laws in other states. So that's good too. So stacking the file. So what are the requirements for that? You know, we use the required documents. We have an RMLO. We have a third-party servicer. The third-party servicer, we don't collect money. they go to a servicer. So when you pay your mortgage, it typically goes to a third-party servicer. They collect the taxes and insurance, they hold it aside, and then they pay the lender, which would be you. We escrow everything. Payments processed. I apologize, you guys, why this didn't flow properly. Give me a second. So they do all the collections, they do all the disclosures, all this stuff is done for you with the right people in place, and that's what we talk about. So, so creating the notes. So who's going to do that? What documents do you need? So you got the mortgage deed of trust, the document checklist, list, the due diligence of the collateral file, which is so important. So why do I have in there, if you can read that, right of first refusal. So what we do is when we sell our notes, we try to get first right of refusal to buy our note back just in case there's an issue. We do that as well. We also add in there the substitution of collateral to where we can actually move our money to other assets if we need to, if some of our investors would like that. And a lot of times the first right of refusal and the substitution collateral are done when we do seller finance deals where we get the seller to be the lender as well. We talk about that on our weekly calls as well. I'm going to talk to you guys about that as well. And we talked about the first and second liens. So selling the note, performing versus non-performing, the discounted Ford F-150 story, and brokers versus note buyers. Well, so here's the deal. So this is why it's so important to create a note properly. Okay. So let's talk about the Ford F-150 story is like this. How many people do you know that have a Ford F-150, a car, or we call it the Ford F-150, built in 2000? It has meticulously has their oil changed, and all the documents are in the glove box or wherever you save them. Tires are changed, the car's cleaned, everything's perfect all the time. Okay. Or you have another friend that literally hasn't washed it since they bought it. Okay. They've never changed the oil, and if they did, they're like, oh, whatever. They don't keep any records of it. Okay. But it has the same mileage, 150,000 miles here, 150 miles there. Which car is worth more money, right? Obviously the one with all the records that's been clean as a whistle. That's what a proper created note is worth. Okay. If you do it correctly and you follow all the things, it costs a little bit of money, but guess what? Guess who pays for most of that note creation stuff? The buyer. The buyer pays for that stuff. Okay. So it's super important. Okay. So that's pretty much my, I think that's the rest of my, oops, apologize for that. That's pretty much the premise of our presentation today of Be the Bank Blueprint. It's basically we go find houses wholesale, sell them retail. We get a nice down payment. We create a first and second, sell the first to pay off our cost, keep a second lien, rinse and repeat with no liability. We don't owe anyone anything. Okay. So here's what I want to do for you guys today. So you can go to www.bethebankblueprint.com, or you can shoot the little QR code here. We're going to give you a free copy of the Deal Analyzer. It's there. The $4.7 trillion secret. It's a book that I wrote on how raising private capital. It's a lot to do with IRA investing, to be honest with you, because I've been investing and actually teaching in the IRA world for a long time, since I originally started this. We have a private Facebook group. It's called Creative Dealmaker, is the private Facebook group. So go to Facebook, go to Creative Dealmaker. There's over 6,000 people in there. It's going to ask you for your name and phone number. So get in the group. And then what happens is you're going to get information back from us where we're doing our weekly office hours live, which we do at 1 p.m. every single Wednesday. And we talk about stuff just like we're talking about right now, but all the questions you might have, or what markets to invest in who you can, maybe you have IRA money and you want to invest in deals. It's all there. It's in our community. So it's pretty cool. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to me. I get excited about this stuff because I love what I do. And honestly, my purpose right now for 2023 is how can I help 1,000 homeowners get homeownership this year through our strategy. And it's not going to be by myself. It's going to be from people like you that either want to invest your IRA money or not your IRA money. You want to go out and find a deal and do the structure the way I do, so you can rinse and repeat. So that's kind of the community that we created with Creative Dealmaker. And we'd love to see you guys on our calls and be involved in our community and just pick our brains. And I don't know, that's basically it. So I appreciate it. Sarah, do you guys have any questions? I haven't even looked at the chat. I'm sure there's like 8,000 people on this call because it's so exciting to listen to me talk.
Well, that was a great presentation. Yeah, we had a lot of people in the comments saying this is really good and things like that. And we do have some questions here. I will read them out.
Okay.
So Ashley asks, what amount do you need to have, and I may kind of chime in here too, but what amount do you need to have in your IRA to use these strategies?
Okay, so I will tell you, so this is cool. So I'm actually going to buy a property right now in my IRA. It's a deal that came in today, okay? And the seller, it's after paying my real estate, my wholesaler fee, and the down payment, because the seller is actually going to carry. So it's a little bit creative deal. And I think I'm going to need about $40,000, right? But yeah, I have it. I have my IRA, and it's I forget the name of that. It's like a 401k for that specific account that I'm using. So anyway, that account, I have the money, but guess what? I'm going to contract it, and there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to get 60,000 down on that from my end buyer. That I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of money out of my pocket. So I'll give you another example. So I created my wife and I created a Roth account for my mother-in-law, and so we funded that for her. And she's now over 65, and she can get access to that money. And so she has she's probably, I don't know, it's probably $10,000 in there. But that account could do these types of deals over and over and over and over again. And guess what? She can gift the money to us. She can give it to her grandkids, my kids. She can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So the key to this is, long answer is, go find the deals. And so what a strategy that I'm using right now, depending on the time of year, if I've made too much money or whatever, I'm just contracting everything in my IRA. And if I don't want to buy it in my IRA, I might back out and buy it that way. And Sarah, you can, these are kind of strategies that you have to kind of get some guidance on. But if you buy it in your personal name and then decide, oh, I'm going to switch it over to my IRA, no. If you buy it in your IRA and then go, oh, it's not going to work for my IRA, I think that's okay. So that's, so the answer is, I don't think you need a whole lot of money. Can I give you one more scenario example about a deal Nick, my business partner, did in Dallas. So he bought a house for $525,000. Okay, he put $30,000 down in his retirement account, so he owes $495,000. Okay, at 3.25% interest for 15 years is the balloon on it. Okay, now he's going to, the cash flow on it is so, it's like, I think he's going to make almost $1,500 a month net cash on this in his IRA. Okay, if he just keeps it as a rental. Okay, so he funds it with his IRA. He'll have his money back, and you guys can back into it, but $1,500 a month divided by 30,000. I mean, he's gonna have his money back in a short period of time, and then it's gonna crank out. But then he's actually cramming down the mortgage. So in 15 years, think about what we just figured out. If it didn't do anything, he'd make over $300,000 on that one deal, just that one deal with a $30,000 investment in his retirement account, and he's gonna get his money back fairly quickly. And it's secured, and it's a single family home, and it's awesome. I don't know. So that's an example.
I love that. That's a great, and I wanted to chime in as well. When I first started here at Quest, I did not have any IRAs. I was just a young little 24-year-old out of college. I started a Roth IRA. I contributed $5,000. That is it. I partnered my IRA with other people. We wound up having about a $60,000 loan, and I was a part of it. Granted, it was a small percentage of it, but that's another way. You really don't need that much in your IRAs to really put it to work to do these types of deals.
Right. 100%.
Here's a really good one that maybe is more of a technical kind of side, not really note side, but as it said, is it possible to fix the slide to see the entire text? I wanted to pull this up just because I think that you will address this for those that maybe want the slide. How can they get this information?
I guess I can share it. I mean, what was there a specific slide that you had a question on that I could try to address? And I can give you guys the slides. I don't care.
Yeah, Jack, let us know in the comments what slide it was. I'm going to move on to another question, and then let us know, and we'll pull your question back up. How's that?
Yeah. And by the way, Jack, please, we do these types of calls every Wednesday where we get to answer everybody's questions live and then plug in and actually go into more detail. That's kind of a high level version of it. but you can hop in any time and hop on. And actually, if you join the Facebook group, if you can't get on at 1 o'clock Eastern, the replays are in our Facebook group too. So there's a lot of stuff that we do on a weekly basis to help people understand this.
This one's a good one. Do you have any issues with Frank-Dodd and note origination?
So it's Dodd-Frank, and yes. So that's why we hire licensed people to originate all our stuff, so we don't have to. And I will tell you right now, so there's a big problem right now going on in our industry. People took a lot of houses over subject to, they took over people's payments, they're doing all this stuff, and they didn't originate. They didn't do the proper things that it takes to underwrite an owner-occupant buyer, which basically Dodd-Frank in the overall broad version is, how do we know these borrowers have the ability to pay? How did you figure that out? Well, we hire licensed people to do that for us. They check it off, they're licensed, it's done correctly, and that's how we that's how we solve and create a perfect note, because it's underwritten properly from the right people.
Boom. We're getting lots of questions, so I'm just going to kind of try to go on through them here. Okay, so we've got one here. Great info. How are the property taxes being paid? Is that being done directly by the seller financed buyer?
So that's why we escrow everything. So we service everything. Everything goes to a servicer. So let's just use round math. Let's say the payment, principal, interest. So I forgot there's one other thing that we do with our buyers. Our buyers pay principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI, and servicing. Okay, so PITIS. So when we actually get our check, it's net. We don't have any other expenses. And we have a little document in our note document that says if the note servicer ever increases their pricing, it gets passed on to the borrower. So yes, $1,500 a month gets brought in. Let's say their payment's $1,500 a month. Subtract taxes, insurance, servicing fees, everything like that. That gets taken out by the servicer. The servicer holds it and then pays it. So we don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Everything's done at the servicing level, just like you would like a traditional mortgage. We treat these just like any traditional mortgage. That's what we do. This is not a mom and pop type deal, and you should never run your note business like that, because your asset is your note. If you ever want to liquidate or borrow against it or do other things like that, you don't want to have to discount it. That's the other thing. That's why we create a first and second. So what if you have to sell off a first lien? If you are a first lien holder, you only have to discount the first lien's percentage, not the whole thing.
Awesome. I'm going to pull up Jack's kind of letting us know what it was. Said it was mainly just the few in the beginning. So
okay. Yeah, I will get you guys the presentation, and then you guys can share it. And I really do apologize for that. I am a note investor, not a PowerPoint presentation master. And I actually am not bad at it, but StreamYard had a little issue, a glitch uploading the file. So I'll get you guys the PowerPoint as well.
Yeah, and if you want, send us an email too. I'm sure we can always get it from Eric if you can't find him somewhere.
For sure.
But as a follow-up to that, if they do want to find you, can you please repeat the Facebook group?
Yeah, so it's creative. So I wonder if I can put it in. Just go to Facebook and put in. I wonder if I can do that. I think I can put in the chat. It's just go to Facebook and put Creative Dealmaker in there, and you'll see my beautiful face and Nick's face in there. Formal male model, I like to call myself. But yes, that's where it is. Creative Dealmaker. You get in there. It's going to ask you for your name and phone number and stuff. Put all the information in there, because we want to notify you when we're going live in our groups and sharing all the information.
Last couple questions here. Have you had any borrowers default? What happens then? Great
question. So personally for me, I've been doing this a long time, and I'll give you kind of when I bought note pools, I've had defaults. Okay. When I've created it from scratch, I've had very little default. Like right now, I hover around 100 notes at any given time, and it's growing like crazy right now, which is great because the market's in our favor now. I've kind of been sitting back waiting, and now it's like time to pounce to opportunities. But I have little no defaults on those types of deals because the way we underwrite our borrowers. But what happens if they do default? What do? There's systems and processes like a bank would do. So we have exact systems and processes. You foreclose, Here's the thing. I rarely foreclose on a borrower. I try to work it out with them if I can. If they want to live in the house and they have the ability to pay, and they just had a problem, they've had an illness or whatever. Think about COVID. During COVID, I didn't miss a beat. Everyone paid. It was great. I mean, maybe I got lucky. I don't know. But my point is, if there is a problem, you can hire the right people to do it. You hire attorneys. There's all this stuff that we talk about in our coach, not our coaching program, but in our Facebook group. It's like, how do you do it? There's a who for everything in here. But normally, what I do is I find is that if it's either a long-term problem or a short-term problem. Okay, if it's a long-term problem, I know the cost of foreclosure. It can be 6 to 10 grand. Okay, well, if I gave them 5,000 and they moved out, and I was able to take over the deal, and go back and find another deserving homeowner to sell the house to, I would do that all day long. And that's what I do. I try to work it out. Like, this is the cool thing. Being the bank on a personal level, I'm able to fix things quickly. And most of our borrowers, so that's if it's a short-term problem, I fix it that way. It's a long, we work something out. If it's a long-term problem, I give them cash for keys and get out as quick as I possibly can, if I can. If not, you just foreclose on them. It's part. There is risk. But when you have no cost in a second lien, how much risk do you really have? None. You don't owe anyone any money. It's that's the deal.
Love it. Thank you for answering that. Just a couple things I want to pull up here.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for helping working families. We love that. Thank you for the great info. We had a lot of people on the call today. They really seem to get, or not call, webinar. They really seem to get a lot of value from this. It seems like from the comments. I know even with technical difficulties, with the great information, it's easy to follow along. So for those that do want to get the information, go to the Facebook group. Again, I'm going to pull it up. Looks like Colin found it there, or Victor, one of our moderators.
Thank you for that.
But go follow that page, be a part of it, get a part of the community. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us, email Eric, and we'll make sure that we get you squared away. But Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, and real quick, one of the things I want to say, Sarah, is I would love to have another opportunity to be on with you guys and just kind of like go into more detail with the note creation side of what to look for your group with Quest. I can bring on my partner Nick, and we could help you guys out even more, because there's going to be opportunities where you guys don't want to do any of that. You just want to buy the perfect note and let it run. And that's where I think we could really be a benefit to your community as well.
Boom. I love it. Well, yeah, well, you guys heard it here first. Y'all got the inside scoop. Stay tuned for that. We may have that coming.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to go watch my daughter in Lion King. So,
love it.
I'm so excited.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
All right. See ya. Thank you.